Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is your page setup. So when you're going to print out the different things that you may want to do in working in the everyday office. So the first thing that we want is just normal printing. So it's going to print out. If I go into my view here for a second. So the first thing you're going to want to do is the different pages. This document here is quite a long one. You can see it's 123 columns long, and it's a common thing people come across when they go to print out spreadsheets in an office. It might print out too small or too big or in 3 or 4 pages. So you can see at the minute here, it's set to automatic. And what that means is that it's going to automatically print out whatever it needs. I can set it to 1 page by 1 page, and that's 1 page wide by 1 page tall, meaning that all the content will print on 1 page for me. So if I go in now and I go to my print preview, I'm just going to go to File at the top and down to Print. You'll see it'll show me the print preview, and it shows you exactly what it's going to look like. So you can see the text is going to be quite small there on it. I'm going to cancel out of that for a second, and I'm going to put it 1 page wide. So I'm going to keep it on that 1 page wide, but I'll put it as 2 pages tall. And now I'm going to go to File and Print. And you can see now the text is a lot bigger, and we've 2 pages. Okay, so sometimes you may need to play about with this option here. It's the width and the height. The next thing we want to look at is the page titles. I'm just going to go back and I'm going to go to File and Print. You can see at the minute on page 1 we have this yellow heading at the top. And once we get to page 2 then the yellow heading's gone. So there's no way of telling. This is what's printing out. You can see it just in the background. There's no way of telling that it's customer number or first name or second name or bill paid or bill owed. So it'd be nice to have that yellow heading at the top of each page. So we'll look at how we do that. So we go to this option here called Print Titles. It's in the Page Layout tab and it's called Print Titles. And we click into it. So you can see here, I'm going to move this over to the other side of the page just so you can see it. Here's the Print Titles option here, and it says rows to repeat at top, and the cursor is clicked into it at the minute. So what it wants us to do is it wants us to select the rows that we want to appear at the top of each page. And we just take our cursor and go over and click on the number of the row we wish to appear at the top of each page. So we want number 1 to appear, and it puts it in. It's no good typing in 1 there because you can see it needs $1:1 : $1. So it's easier clicking into it. You can type that in if you want. If you wanted 4 or 5 rows to appear at the top of each page, which you may want in business, so you might have maybe company information like VAT numbers or addresses or logos, you can do a couple of rows like that. So you can see it's printing rows 1 to 7 now. In this case, we only want row 1. So I just click back into row 1 and only prints out that for me. I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to go to File and Print. So you can see here we have the yellow heading at the top of page 1. We click into page 2 and we have the yellow heading at the top of page 2. So it's a good way of getting that heading at the top of each page for you. So that's the first thing that we look at. The next thing we want to look at then is the different grid lines and headings. So at the minute they're on as view, there's grid lines off and there's headings off. But the print option is switched off. So if I put the 2 of them on, I'll show you. We go to File, Print. So you can see now what it's doing. It's printing A, B, C, D, E, F. The numbers down along the side. And it's also printing these grid lines. So you can see the grid in the background. So the difference in it. I'll put them off. We'll cancel. Put the 2 of them off. And then I'll show you. So now you can see the difference. So it doesn't have them grids in the background. So there are options that you can put on if you want. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is the orientation of the page. So we might want the orientation to be in landscape or portrait, depending on the type of thing that we're printing out. And it's here. Orientation, portrait and landscape. So you can select each one of them. Different projects you're printing out will need to go in landscape or portrait. We have the size of the paper that we're using. Usually it's A4 that we're using. But if we want to change it, we can change it here. So if you're using a different size printer. But usually it's the A4 that we usually use. We have an option then for print area. So say for example you only want to print out that amount of text. Select it, go to print area and say set print area. and we click on it. Now if I go to File and Print, you can see it's only printing out that bit of text. To get back to normal, we just go to Print Area and say Clear Print Area. So it's quite a good option if you only want to print out a certain number of things and not include the whole lot in it. You can set a print area. We then have the margins. Now margins don't really come into play in Microsoft Excel as much as they would in Microsoft Word, but we can still look at them. So we tip into margins. Normal, wide and narrow are the three presets. Or we can click on the custom margins ... Now not this custom margins. That's the ones that have been set by whoever was using the program last. It may have been you. Custom margins ... If we click into it, you can see then it shows you the different options here. So mine is set as inches at the minute. You can apply it as centimeters or type it in if you want. And you can make the margins bigger or smaller by just clicking up or down on the arrows. And it'll allow you to do it there. So top, bottom, left and right, we have the header and footer. And we can cancel out of that. That takes us into the header and footer section. So then we may want to include information in the header and footer. You can go to Insert, and here's header and footer here. Now a header appears at the top of each page and the footer appears at the bottom of each page. And if we click into it, you can see it opens up in the header for us. Left section, center section and right section. And then if I scroll down, there's the footer section, left section, center section and right section. And we have a header and footer tab at the very top with different options we can put into it. Page number, number of pages, current date, current time. File path is the location of the file. The file name is just the name of the file. So my name's customer list at this minute. So if I put in a there, and the sheet name is just sheet 1 that we put in here. There's go to header and go to footer. So that's a quick way of doing it. To get back out of the header and footer, you just click back into your document. Notice that as soon as you click into header and footer, it splits your page up into these pages for you. You can get back to, if you go to view and normal view, it puts it back on. It's just in page layout at the minute. Whenever you go into header and footer, it puts it into page layout view. A lot of people panic when they see that straight away.